Hey everyone, and welcome to the start of another video that is not a reading vlog. I don't know how to even start this video, but it's currently Monday evening. I have just finished work for the day and also for the week, because tomorrow we are going to Paris for the next few days and I am so excited, but also a little bit stressed right now, I'm not gonna lie. I realised last week that I'd spelt my boyfriend's last name wrong on the booking, so I've been trying to get in touch with Expedia to get it changed and no one is getting back to me, and it's now what, yeah, 13 hours before we fly and it's still not sorted. Hopefully we can get that sorted in the morning. I think we're gonna have to get to the airport for like 4 o'clock because of this stupid thing that I did. I can't believe I did it. I still can't believe that I did it. But anyway, everything is all packed and ready to go. We don't have checked luggage or anything like that. So I literally have a teeny tiny backpack that I'm going to be taking on the plane with me. Because yeah, the way the flights have been booked, we fly there with Air France and then on the way back, we're flying with Vueling. We land in the early hours of Tuesday morning and then I don't think we can check into the hotel until the afternoon, so we're just gonna mooch around Paris for a bit and just chill, maybe get some lunch and then get an early night because we're gonna have to wake up I think 2:30 in the morning, which I'm not looking forward to. But then our main day, our first and only full day, is Wednesday and that's when we're going to be doing the Louvre. Then we've also got tickets to do a boat cruise and then in the evening we're going to see the Moulin Rouge, which I'm really excited about. Let's see how many times I say excited in this vlog because I'm willing to bet it's going to be a lot. I should have probably said I have been to Paris before, but not in years. I mean, I've been to Disneyland Paris a few times, but in terms of actual Paris, like the city centre, I think I've only done like day trips there. So when I was a kid, I went to Disneyland Paris with my family and then on the way back we stopped off in Paris for an afternoon and we did the Eiffel Tower and stuff. And then when I was in school, I went on a trip to France, but one of those adventure holidays. And I think on the way there, again, we stopped off in Paris for the afternoon and did the Eiffel Tower and a boat cruise, but I've not actually spent any real time in Paris. So it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be, yeah, hopefully a fun few days. Hopefully you enjoy this vlog and I will catch up with you when I next catch up with you. So we have arrived in Paris. It is just gone 3 o'clock and we've basically spent this morning just wandering around Montmartre, which is where we're staying. Very, very tired right now because we've been awake since about 2:30 this morning, but everything went fine with the flight. We arrived safely and yeah, we've basically just spent this morning exploring. I might have said that already. Did I mention that I'm tired and my brain isn't quite functioning? But yeah, I think we're gonna get showers now because I do not feel great. Just feeling a little bit grim because it's really, really hot today. But I think, yeah, we're gonna freshen up and then maybe have a nap before we head out and have some drinks tonight and then get an early night because, like I said, very, very tired right now. So I am now back from Paris. I've actually been back about a week, but I'm only just getting around to editing this vlog, and I realised that I only did one talking clip while I was away because I kind of forgot that I was filming this vlog. I mean, I didn't forget, it's just that we were so busy that I didn't really have time to talk to the camera, but I did want to go through just everything that we did and maybe give a few tips. I mean, I'm obviously not an expert because I've been to Paris once, but one thing I did want to say is that if you're thinking about going to Paris and you're not really sure whereabouts to stay, then I would really recommend Montmartre. I can't remember the name of the hotel that we stayed in, but it was literally about a 5-minute walk from the Moulin Rouge, and then it was also about a 10 or 15-minute walk from the Sacré-Cœur, which is this basilica on this hill, and there's the most beautiful view of Paris, like amazing views. So yeah, in general it was a really nice area to stay in. There were so many bars and restaurants and cute little cafes, and yeah, I think because it's slightly away from the main tourist areas, it was also slightly cheaper. So for example, when we were near the Eiffel Tower, we paid around €6 for a glass of Coke each, whereas in Montmartre it was more like half that price. On our first morning, we actually decided to walk to the Louvre from our hotel, which took around 50 minutes. I think we did end up getting the train back because my feet were not having a good time by the end of the day. But the subway system in Paris is pretty easy to navigate. It's basically like the London Underground. So there's different coloured lines and stuff. I think a single trip ticket was €1.80 if I'm remembering right. So it was pretty reasonable, and it was, yeah, quite easy to get around. I was a little disappointed with the Louvre, I'm not gonna lie. I was really excited for it, but once we got there, the queuing system to get inside was really stressful, and we'd pre-booked our tickets as well online. There were just so many different queues and we couldn't really work out where we had to be, so we ended up joining this one queue only to find out 20 minutes later that we were in the wrong queue. So that wasn't fun, it was a little bit stressful, but once we were inside it felt very overwhelming. I think because we'd only planned to spend a few hours there wasn't really enough time to see everything, but also it's like a maze inside and it just didn't feel very well laid out. I was actually saying at the time that I think I would have enjoyed it more if we'd been part of a guided tour, because I think that would have just brought a little bit more structure to our time there. But yeah, it wasn't bad, like we saw the Mona Lisa and stuff. It's just that I've been to other museums that I've enjoyed a lot more. We then decided to walk to the Eiffel Tower, which I think took around 50 minutes, but we did stop off for a drink on the way. I think when we checked Google Maps though, it said it was around a 50-minute walk. We actually went via Trocadero, which has this incredible view of the Eiffel Tower and the gardens. It's very, very popular though. So there were some big crowds because I think it was early afternoon by the time we got there. I think my favourite thing that we did all holiday though was definitely the boat cruise. So we'd booked tickets online for Bateaux Parisiens, and it was an open ticket, so we could basically rock up at any time. And I think the cruises were every half an hour. So when we got there was a cruise that had just set off. So we did have to wait a little while, but it was so good. I think because we'd been doing so much walking that day, it was nice to just relax and take in the sights, and the views were incredible. That evening we'd also booked tickets to see a show at the Moulin Rouge, which I was really excited about, and I would say that it was probably my second favourite thing that we did. The only thing that spoilt it a little bit was the process for getting in. So we'd booked our tickets online in advance obviously, and on the ticket it said to get there an hour early, which we did, but there was nowhere for us to wait other than outside. So we were literally stood outside for nearly an hour just waiting for them to let us in, and it was a little bit annoying. Like, I can understand why places do that, why they tell people to get there early, because obviously they don't want people to show up late, but we were expecting there to be a bar or something inside where we could chill and hang out while we waited, and there was none of that. So yeah, it was a little bit annoying, but the actual show was just mesmerising. It was so good, and they gave us a bottle of champagne as well that was included in our tickets, which was just a nice little touch. When we booked it, we could only get tickets for the 11 o'clock show, so there's 2 showings I think most nights at the Moulin Rouge, one at 9 p.m. and one at 11 o'clock, and we could only get the 11 o'clock tickets, so, which meant that it was quite late by the time that we got out. I think we got back to the hotel around 1:30 or 2 o'clock. My memory's a little bit fuzzy of that night because of all of the champagne, but I can just remember the next morning feeling really tired and had a little bit of a headache. But yeah, our final day, we just went out for breakfast after we checked out, and then we went over to the Arc de Triomphe and the Champs-Elysees because we hadn't been there yet, and it was the one area that I kind of wanted to at least see. So we spent about, I guess, an hour just walking up and down the Champs-Elysees, and then we got a drink, and then we got the train to the airport and came home. I don't know if I mentioned actually that we flew into Charles de Gaulle, but then we flew out of Paris Orly, which I had never done before. I've only ever been to Charles de Gaulle airport. Paris Orly is a little bit smaller, but there was no queue as we were going through security, so it meant that we had a few hours to just chill and relax before getting the flight back. But yeah, I think that's everything that I wanted to say in this vlog. I don't make many travel vlogs, so I never really know how to wrap things up. But let me know in the comments if you've ever been to Paris and what you thought of it, or what are your favourite things to do there. And I guess don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and click subscribe if you would like to see more videos from me, and I will see you next time. Bye!